Hola, buenos días y vamos a presentar nuestro trabajo final de Historia Internacional del siglo XX. Y consta de una entrevista a Frank Admiraal, un extranjero holandés de 53 años que estuvo 2 años antes de la caída del muro de Berlín y 2 años después de la caída del muro de Berlín. Para ello debemos tener en cuenta que tras el fin de la Segunda Guerra Mundial en 1945, el mundo quedó dividido en dos bloques, capitalista y comunista. Y en 1961, por primera vez se levantó un muro sobre la ciudad de Berlín, capital de Alemania. Este fue un muro que se levantó inesperadamente, el cual representó físicamente la bipolaridad entre las dos ideologías del siglo XX, que cayó en 1989.
How was the situation before the Berlin's wall fell down?
How was the situation then? I've been there with my school in 1982, I think, and it was really terrifying a little bit because we have to wait very long at the border, and then we have to take all the things out of our bus, and they searched for a long time, and then they told nothing. About 5 hours later, we can go further on, and then they stopped us again when we passed the wall, and they have to ask a lot of other. We have to fill in a lot of forms, and you see, all the people are very terrified because they don't want to talk with you. They look behind them, and they are They were not free. You can see everybody looks at each other, and everyone can trade their neighbor or their family.
Okay.
Okay.
What were you doing there?
We have an excursion with our school for 3 days or 4 days, and to see how Berlin, the western and the eastern part was different. One of our teachers was coming from Berlin, and he wants to show us the difference between the western part and the eastern part.
And what was the most impact difference that you saw there?
What was the most?
The most impact difference between the both sides that you saw?
Yeah, the most impact was the fear the people have in the eastern part, and the freedom in the western part, and also the luxury in the western part. Lots of lights, lots of nice films, nice. You can see overall Coca-Cola and other things, and films, and in the eastern part, it was all grey. People wearing other clothes, other things than in the western part. You can both German people, but they're totally different. In the western part, there was lots of music and lots of things to do. And in the eastern part, it was very we said sober. I don't know if it's an English word, but it looks grey. It looks and people doesn't laugh as much as in the western part.
Did you talk to somebody in the western and the eastern part?
Yeah, I talked to lots of people in the western part, and they told us that it was very difficult to contact with their family or their friends in the eastern part. And we also spoke to people in the eastern part, but it was not so easy. Only 2 or 3 people want to tell something about what they like or not like in the eastern part, because they were afraid that somebody can listen with us. So probably someone will tell it to the Stasi, that's the secret police, and then they can they can go in jail if they didn't tell the right things about the East Germany.
Can you tell me something about the Stasi?
The Stasi, I've been there in the 10 years later in a museum about the Stasi, but the Stasi was a secret police, and they look at everything people do. The phone calls, the thing they do on the post, the thing the people where they talk with, the was not. They cannot easily find out or if it was normal. Then they follow you and they try to find out if you have contact with non-communistic people or with people from Western Germany, and they always you always have to be afraid of them, because in the Stasi they ask lots of people from your neighborhood or from your family to look after you if they don't trust you.
Okay. What were you doing exactly the day that the Berlin Wall fell down?
I was that day with my girlfriend at their home, and we've been to a concert in Amsterdam, and when we came back, we hear lots of people talking about there's something going on in Berlin. The wall is coming down, and then we directly go to the television and we saw the first people climbing over it, and people make a hole in the wall and go through it, and lots of people are putting fireworks and other things. It was I was with my girlfriend to a big concert, but when we came back, we saw all the things happen, and we also enjoyed it.
Okay. And Frank, you were again after it happened. What is the difference between after and before?
Year after it has happened, I've been to Berlin again, and the first year in Eastern Germany it was still grey, and it was still a little bit. People they were more happy, but they're still afraid of the Stasi was still there. They think a little bit. It was not changed a lot like now. But I've been there for 2 years ago, and now Eastern Germany and the eastern part and the western part is one now. But in 1990 or 1992, it was still the people were afraid that somebody can tell things to the government. They were afraid that it was only for 1 or 2 years, and then Eastern Germany will come back. So it was still not as happy as the western part. But you can see the change was a little. The younger people, they were not so afraid, but the older people were still afraid.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank.
Okay.
Este testimonio de Frank Admiraal nos puede ayudar a entender cómo se sintió haber protagonizado un evento histórico tan importante, cómo se sintió haber sido testigo de la historia.